Hi everyone, this is Justinian Lane of Justinian Associates, and I have with me today attorney Dustin Fox and attorney Diego Rodriguez, and we're going to talk about some topics that are trending in the news right now. We'll start with an update from Diego on what's going on with immigration law.
Hey guys, how are y'all today? So it just went into effect. There's a fee increase pretty much across the board when it's dealing with any visas you're dealing with USCIS. Some can go up from about 50, other ones can go up to a couple $100. We here at Justinian Associates, we always offer flexible payment arrangements. So if you're worried about that, let us know. We'll see how we can accommodate you, as well as don't forget there's always the fee waivers. So if you're fit under the poverty guideline, we can apply for that and maybe we can get that waived for you. So we're here to help. Give us a call at 512-980-0000 or in Espanol, 512-580-5000.
Now, the fees Diego was talking about are the fees charged by the U.S. government. We talked about this in depth in a couple of other episodes, how much they're going up. But I think it's been, 5 or 6 years since the government has
Yeah,
raised
exactly.
their fees? So this has nothing to do with the presidential election. This was set in place for a while. Some of the fee increases are modest, $10 or $20, and some are a little more expensive. But as Diego says, our fees, our attorney fees, we're always going to be flexible and work out a payment plan. So if you're ready to get some help with any immigration issue, we're not going to let money be what stands in the way of you and getting that issue solved.
Yeah, we're here to help.
Absolutely. And Dustin Fox is a personal injury attorney, and he handles a lot of cases at the office for people who are in car accidents, truck accidents, things like that. Has there been anything happening lately that might have led to an increase in car accidents?
Yeah, actually, there's been some news lately. There's actually been about a 7.5% increase in DWIs since Uber and Lyft actually left Austin from last
Wow.
year. Yeah, so over the past year, there's been the increase in DWI. So we don't know how many deaths there's been. Just we know that there's been an increase in at least DWIs.
Right.
But I would imagine that correlates to more accidents as well.
I would think so. I mean, obviously, driving while intoxicated is one of the most dangerous things you can do.
Absolutely.
7.5% is not a small increase. I mean, obviously, we can't be sure that it's from Uber and Lyft, but I know, anecdotally, I'm much less likely to go out with friends and go drinking in downtown or something because, it's much more difficult now to get a ride home.
Yeah, there's other rideshare companies, but I mean, not as prevalent as Uber and Lyft was.
Right. Yeah, I haven't personally used it, but my friends who have tell me that Uber and Lyft were an easier to use service. I mean, certainly Uber seemed I guess they say friction free these days. It seemed pretty easy.
Yeah. Diego, did you use Uber and Lyft as well?
Yeah, I used it all the time. It was, something that really I feel changed, public safety, but it also, you connected in a way different way. You now no longer had to worry about, am I going to park? Or, it wasn't, I would take it to the court sometimes because I didn't want to deal with parking or things like that down in Austin. But if you do find yourself in a situation where you maybe had a little trouble this weekend or in the past and you do have a DWI, give us a call. We do free consultations. We do criminal law as well here at the firm. If you want to know what the next step is, what should I expect, or maybe this is a second or third, or you want a different consultation, let us know. But first and foremost, drive safe, Austin. It's use some other platform or things like that. But in the event something does bad happen, definitely give us a call. Across the board, we always offer free consultations, be it criminal, family, immigration, personal injury.
Absolutely. And, on discussing the reason that Uber and Lyft left, I think it was, it was good intentions that they wanted to have the background checks. But one of the problems that I saw with that is, a lot of people come over to the country and they drive a cab and, maybe they had criminal records where they came from. And doing a background check for somebody here won't actually solve that. So it seemed like we were addressing more of a hypothetical problem versus the very real problem of people driving drunk and getting in accidents and causing problems. I wish that the services could have come to a better solution because, I mean, we're less likely to use those kinds of services now. And I got kind of spoiled with all the traveling that I do for work. Go down to Houston, for example, and, Uber is very convenient. And you obviously used it even to go to court. I'd never
Yeah.
even thought of doing that for going to court. But, it's a shame that happened.
Sure. Yeah, I mean downtown's crazy, so I'd always thought about using it like to go downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there are cab drivers that have criminal records. Just because somebody's in a taxi doesn't mean that that they're squeaky clean. Things happen. So I hope that at some point, maybe in 2017, Austin will revisit this issue and can bring back a good service. If not, if people have issues with DWI, we can help. We handle a lot of cases for people who were injured in accidents, and it's always a tragedy when that happens because it's so preventable. And New Year's is right around the corner, so we really, really want to encourage anybody to use a rideshare service, use a taxi, walk, get a hotel room, do something. Don't drive drunk. It's a terrible thing. The best case scenario, is maybe you only lose your license or have a gigantic amount of fees. That our criminal attorney can talk about, what happens with that. But you could take someone's life, and that's just a terrible thing. You should never do that.
Yeah, you absolutely have to live with that the rest of your life. It's something you not want to have to deal with.
Plan accordingly. Make proper steps now. You have time. Find a hotel, like you said. You can probably get some pretty good deals on some of those websites.
Sure.
Or just spend the $60-$70, or find designated driver. Try to get home safely.
Right. I mean, the bottom line is if you can't afford to get home safely, you can't afford to go out drinking. So you just need to price that into your plans.
Speaking of changes around Austin, there's some news in the legislature. Speaking of family law, actually.
Yeah, we've got a representative who is introducing a bill out of Fort Worth that wants to end no-fault divorce in Texas, and I find it really, really personally offensive. Let me see if I can find a quote about this.
Can you discuss what no-fault divorce actually is for the folks?
Yeah, absolutely. In I think every state, you can get divorced for a number of reasons. I mean, people know about adultery you can get divorced for, or physical abuse or things like that. But they implemented what's called no fault in Texas. Sometimes lawyers refer to as insupportability, which means the marriage is just not supportable. It just means it's not a good fit anymore for whatever reason. And the no fault divorce didn't used to be the standard, but it is now. And what's so important about that is it doesn't keep people into bad marriages. There's all kinds of reasons marriages can fail, and when people are in bad relationships, bad things happen. The intent of it was Representative Matt Krause is he wants to improve or enforce the sanctity of marriage by making it more difficult for people to get divorced. He wants to take the no fault away and make you have to prove to a court why you're entitled to a divorce. Now, I'm sure Mr. Krause is very well intentioned, and I agree absolutely that a good family life is important to both the husband and spouse and wife or to the children. But forcing people to stay into a marriage is a bad idea. It is, this is America. You don't have to prove to a court why you're entitled to get a divorce. People don't have to stay together. And I was very offended that I read that he wants to make it more difficult, and he wants to protect the spouse that doesn't want a divorce. Protect somebody who doesn't want a divorce. You can break up with somebody for any reason. It's not the government's job to force people to stay together. All that's going to happen if you do that is physical abuse is going to go up, mental abuse is going to go up, and perhaps most damagingly of all, the children are going to have to stay and witness an abusive relationship. Yeah. Look, I get it. I get there's studies that show that children that come from broken homes are more likely to have problems than others. But it's not the divorce that caused that. The reason that the divorce happened in the first place is it was a bad marriage. A kid who's watching a physically abusive relationship is going to have damage no matter if they stay divorced or if they stay married or they get divorced. I mean, how do you guys feel about this?
Yeah, it's a tough situation. You can't have the legislator try to come in the bedroom. You can't come, to the home to those things. It creates kind of a vicious cycle. But kind of to piggyback on that and hit a more immigration thing. If you're in a marriage and you're the victim of domestic violence and that person's a United States citizen or a resident, we can apply under the Violence Against Women's Act. Imagine if you're a victim of domestic violence, and it goes both ways, male and females, and now you have to prove to the court, no, I want to stay with my aggressor. That's ridiculous. That's not the way it should be, and that's this bill, I think, is the way it's premised. I think it's a very bad situation, but there's definitely help. You should always go out and try to seek other things.
Yeah, I agree absolutely. And one of the things I don't often argue, against things that could help a law firm financially. But the only thing that this bill is going to do is enrich lawyers. I don't know if you guys know this. The first trial that I ever did was a family law thing that I did it pro bono. I represented a woman for free, handling a child custody issue. and it should have been just easy as pie. I mean, the parties agreed on almost everything. The law was stacked so in favor. I mean, right or wrong, the law is basically stacked in favor of the mother keeping a small child, and you have to show that she did some really bad things for it to go with the father. None of those bad things happened in this case, and the father didn't think any of the bad things happened. But his lawyer, who I later found out was billing him by the hour, billed him over $30,000 for a case that a reasonable fee would have been $3,000 or $4,000. I didn't have that much time in it. She just kept the opposing attorney was a woman, and she kept picking fights and making motions happen and doing things that didn't need to. We agreed to almost everything, but she was just running this poor guy's bill up. And that's all that's going to happen is lawyers are going to have to fight. They're going to have to pick fights that they don't need to. And divorce is going to spiral out of control cost-wise, so only people with a good amount of money can afford it.
Sure. I would imagine a lot of attorneys are going to take advantage of that.
Yes, sadly, but they will. It's human nature. If they have an opportunity to bill by the hour, they're going to find a way to bill for things that they might not otherwise. That's one of the things I like about personal injury law is we don't bill by the hour. We get a percentage of whatever we're able to recover. So, the old saying, pick your battles. We fight the battles that we need to, versus on the other side, there's a financial incentive to fight over things they don't. Do you see that, Dustin?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially when it comes to personal injury. I mean, we get to pick and choose the cases that, we feel that we can win, honestly, because if we don't win, we don't get a fee.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas if you get billed by the hour, there's a reason why the defense attorneys like to drag out the cases. Just pointless motions, really, one after another, just because they get billed by the hour.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a misconception that personal injury lawyers, we're the ones that drag things out. We don't get paid until the case settles or resolves, so we want to get it over tomorrow if we can. It's the guys on the other side that are billing $150, $250, $500 an hour in some cases. It's in their best interest to make a case drag on as long as possible.
Sure.
And that happens anytime. Most people understand that when somebody bills by the hour, they're not really incentivized to get things done as quickly as they can. And for immigration, do we do hourly billing, Diego?
No, we do a flat rate system. We pretty much know what the amount of work that's going to be taken into. We were dealing with all immigration, USCIS things when it comes to deportation defense and courts. Those things can there's a variance that goes there, but it's a range that we kind of get there. But we're very flexible with our payment plans, and if you have questions across the board, like we always say, we always offer those free consultations. So it's come and take advantage of those. Come get informed by attorneys. You'll speak with one of us or another attorney, that depending on what area of law you're dealing with. But the consultations are always free. Come and talk to us.
Absolutely. There's no reason to pay for a consultation. Some firms will charge $50, $100, or even more just to sit down for half an hour with you and tell you they can't help. Well, we just don't do that. I wouldn't feel right taking money to someone we can't help.
You shouldn't pay someone to be told no at the end of the day.
Right. Getting told no is always free with Justinian and Associates. We'll never charge you for that. But we like to say yes as much as possible. And I know Diego works very hard to, if there is a way, he'll find it. And Dustin does the same thing on our personal injury cases.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll sign cases that are kind of iffy. We'll do some investigation, and we always do our due diligence to try to help the folks if we can.
Right. One of the things I'm really proud of is we have a number of cases now that other law firms started working on, and then they got too hard, so they withdrew, and then those people came to us, and we're happy to handle ones. Some law firms, and I'm not going to name any names, but they have a reputation in the community as a settlement mill, that they just take the easy cases. We don't take the easy cases only, do we?
No, absolutely not. We've encountered some cases where they literally released the case because a lawsuit needed to be filed. Yeah, there's some law firms that aren't even set up to file lawsuits.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's it's ridiculous to hear that, that a lawyer isn't able to file a lawsuit, but you can make a living if you just take the easy cases and just push for settlement. When it comes to pushing for settlement, do we do that? Do we try to tell our clients what they have to do?
No, absolutely not. It's always the client's choice. We give them, their range. It's like, here, you could settle for this. We could take it to court. These are your options. You get to choose.
Right.
Yeah.
And we can help any kind of client who's been injured in an accident, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Diego knows they don't necessarily have to have a driver's license, right?
Yeah, no. So some of our clients, they'll have insurance, or they'll do things like that, or maybe they're in the process. If you get in an accident, don't get scared. You can speak to the police about situations like that. You can come and talk to Dustin. You can have me in the room, and I can let you know, hey, these are the ramifications, these are not. But know your rights. Get informed. Dustin and his team I've worked with a lot of my clients to try to help along the system. So yeah, you're correct. I believe the driver's license aren't necessarily to be able to go ahead with the and get your rights protected. Try to get some
Absolutely
of
not.
the
No,
property back.
we can certainly represent folks that don't have a driver's license if they were injured in a car accident, because as long as they weren't at fault, of course.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the police, when they come to the scene of an accident, they're worried about, are people hurt? Do we have to get medical assistance? Do we have to issue tickets? They're not checking to see if somebody, has a driver's license or an immigration status. One thing has nothing to do with the other. So I think that it was a surprise to me when I heard that people were afraid if they were in an accident to try to call a lawyer or get help. I mean, is that common in your
Yeah,
clients?
very, very common. We'll see it in situations where people get a little fender bender and they're like, you know what, I'm not going to deal with it, or they'll deal with it in another way, and they'll actually be hurt that way because, say, we can take it. Say there's $500 of car damage or $1,000, whatever it may be. They may take a less amount and not even think about what impact that had on their body. I've met with some of Dustin's clients and the firm's clients, and I've seen, if you've been in an accident today, you may not feel bad today, but it comes in afterwards, or it could show some pretty intense things. So if you don't go and talk to, attorney or try to protect your rights, you may be impacted a lot longer than actually just the $500 in property damage or whatever.
Yeah, you don't think about the future, of course.
Yeah.
Now, Diego, a lot of folks are scared after a car accident, but should anyone that doesn't have status be scared to talk to the police?
So to be here without status, that is a federal offense. It's not a state offense. We have that separation. We've talked in past videos about it. It is a federal offense to be here without status. The state government doesn't deal necessarily with that. It is true, however, that they can go at their discretion and send that information over to ICE. But if it's a nonviolent offense, if you are the victim, they're not going to go. You're not necessarily a priority for them to go and report to ICE. You're the one that's being injured. They want to make sure, like Justinian said, make sure everybody's okay and make sure everything's being taken care of there. Immigrants are systematically been taken advantage of because they kind of fall in the cracks and they're ill-informed, or somebody takes advantage of them because the lack of language barriers or things like that. We are bilingual. There's if we need to bring somebody else in to interpret, we'll do that as well. Feel free to come talk to us. We're happy to chat with you across the board.
Absolutely, and it's not uncommon that we will represent people with an immigration matter and with a personal injury matter, and in some cases we can use the expected fees that we think we're going to be able to recover in their injury case to cover the fees for their immigration case. So if you've been in an accident, you should give us a call. We might be able to help. If you've been in an accident and need immigration help, you should definitely give us a call because we might be able to handle your personal injury case and your immigration case with no out-of-pocket cost to you, and that's just a great situation for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the processes take so long on both sides. We want to help in any way we can, and the firm believes in that. So very happy to be here to be able to help them as well.
And if people, if there's somebody who isn't with status that they have an issue that they think that they should or maybe would like to talk to the police about, we can do that on their behalf for them. Is that right?
Yeah, as your representative, we definitely will call. I've had plenty of clients that have been victims of some sort of fraud or scam or things like that, and they're scared. I'll go with them and I'll go talk to the police, or we'll call the police, make a report, and do those things. And I'll just express, this is what's going on, this is there. But sometimes it's helpful to have your representative there with you. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the law is a complicated issue. If you don't know it, especially if you're from a different country, it can be very intimidating. So we try to make it as easy as possible, and we won't talk to you in the jargon. We'll save that for the police or the other attorney or whatever. Obviously we know how to talk to the right people, but I hope you can kind of tell we're all just guys who have a law degree that like to help people. I mean, that's why we all became attorneys. I mean, I wanted to help people, and I know you guys did.
So Dustin, what I guess kind of run through a scenario. What should you do? Say you're driving this weekend, you get into a car accident. Should you first maybe seek medical attention? Should you call us?
Sure. I mean, the first and foremost, you should seek medical attention if you're injured. If you're only slightly injured and you need to take photos of the property damage, you should exchange insurance, call the police, make sure a police report is given. And then after all that's said and done, you should definitely give us a call. Because once you get into a car accident, the other insurance is going to start asking questions. And anything you say, they will use that against you later. And they have certain types of tricks that they like to get you. Well, you weren't injured that much, right? Or were you really that hurt? They they try to pinpoint you down, and they'll use it against you later when you try to settle.
Okay.
So the best thing to do would be call an attorney. I mean, even if it's not us, you should call an attorney if you've been into a car accident. That's why I tell all of our clients when they come in, even if you don't sign with us, you should sign with a different attorney, because that's how you're going to get the most for your bang.
Right. Dustin's completely correct that, insurance companies, they're going to want to take an interview of you, and they're not doing it to be fair. They're doing it to save money and pay your claim as little as possible. So they'll absolutely try to ask you trick questions or lead you into saying something that if you do end up having to go to court, oh, well, Mr. Smith, you said you weren't really that hurt. Maybe you said that 2 days before you went to the doctor and then found out you had a pinched disc or whatever. So it's in your best interest to have an attorney with you if you're going to give a statement. And if not us, there's plenty of firms in Texas that can help out.
Sure.
The good thing about it is Dustin and his team and JC and them, you can shoot them a text 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can give them a call, and somebody will respond to you. Pretty fast. I've taken calls on my side at 1 a.m. I'm sure you've taken calls before.
Yeah,
pretty late.
I've taken a call at 10:30 at night. And speaking of text, I remember someone text me 9 a.m. in the morning and said, "Hey, I just got into a car accident. What do I do?" It's like, "Well, are you hurt? go to the doctor."
Right.
And then afterwards, they came right after the doctor. They came and signed up with us, and we were able to get them a really nice settlement.
Yep, the number is 512-980-0000, and if you send a text to that, every lawyer at the firm gets it. And if you call, we have 24-hour coverage during the day. It's our direct employees, and after hours, we have an answering service. And if it's a serious case, and you need help immediately, they call one lawyer down the other on the list until somebody answers. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, we're always reachable because. Sadly, a lot of accidents do happen at night. Alcohol's involved, things like that. So if you need help at 1 a.m, we can help you. I mean, we've all had to put clothes on and go do something in the middle of the night to help clients before.
This morning, early in the morning, we had somebody that was put into custody, and I received the text early in the morning. Woke up, took care of everything we needed to do. Fortunately, he's being released right now. But that's one of those things. That's the accident side. Let's say a family member, somebody gets in, has a little situation this week. They maybe had too much to drink, or a boyfriend or a girlfriend. There was something that escalated, whatever may have happened over the weekend. First, give us a call. The consultation will be free, but we'll go and locate them. We'll figure out if they are in custody, where they at, what they can do. Get you in touch with some bondsmen of, how we can maybe get them released or things like that. If they have status, or if they don't have status, then we approach it a different way. But we're here to help all across the board. It's kind of let's try to be safe. Let's try to avoid those problems. But if you do have those questions, remember the consultations are free across the board.
Sure, and not only are we, we're accessible. I think we do a pretty good job making clients happy. I think right now we have, I think it's a 5-star rating on Facebook. Is that right?
I believe so. Yeah.
And it shows our response time is less than 30 minutes. I think something like that. We're all very responsive and do our best to help as quickly as we can. And if we can't help, we'll try to point you in the direction of somebody that can. Do we do that a lot, Dustin? Send people to another firm if it's something we don't do?
Yeah, absolutely. If we don't do it in-house, I'm well connected around the community now. I know several different attorneys. For example, we don't necessarily do tax law, but I do know a great tax attorney. And so we get several different calls across the board for folks who need legal help, but they just don't know where to go. And so we're able to we actually go out of our way to try to help them and point them in the direction of someone that we know and trust.
That's right. I remember we were at lunch one day and you took a call from somebody who needed help with, I think it was a homeowners association issue.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
you made a couple of calls and made the connection. And
Absolutely.
Did you charge for that?
No, absolutely not. I mean, not only are consultations free, helping folks just, making a couple of calls for folks is also free. So yeah, even if you haven't been injured or you don't need immigration help, you didn't get a DWI, if you just have a random question for law, we can definitely help you.
Right. If it's not an emergency, you don't have to call. You just want to send an email. You can send us an email. It's at the website. Got all our contact information. It's justinian.com, JUSTINIAN. And you can contact us there with any kind of questions. I mean, you probably get a lot of questions about different legal issues from your clients.
Yeah, we get wills and estate things, transactions. If it's stuff that we don't necessarily, like we said, we want to be able to help. We're local attorneys. We're here. We want to help the community, and if we can't help, we want to be a resource for those people to be able to come and request that information from us. So we will direct you to the right way. Experienced attorneys that we've worked with in the past that have done a good job. But any of those questions that you may have, give us a call. we'll see if we can help you out. And a lot of times, I've had people call me and ask me a question, and I go, actually, it's not even a legal question. This is actually can be remedied. Just call a social security office or do something else like that. You just go to the DPS and work it out that way. And I can actually, we can give advice like that, but it's,
And you don't charge for that.
no, of course not. We never do.
Yeah, we have a pretty wide range of experience across a ton of different issues because we do so many different practice areas. I mean, Diego does mostly immigration law. Dustin does a lot of personal injury. I do a lot of pharmaceutical cases. If you took a drug and got injured, we've helped veterans. We've helped people with Social Security claims, criminal law, some family
Hail
law.
damage.
Hail damage. The storms come, and your roof gets damaged. We help make sure the insurance company handles things. So we have a great network of people that we know and trust that do good work. And if you think we might be able to help, just give us a call. That's what we're here for. We'd be happy to help.
Yeah, if y'all have any questions or you want to give us a call for a consultation, it's 512-980-0000 or in Espanol, 512-580-5000.
Right, as Diego said, you can call us, email us, text us 24 hours a day if you have any questions. We always respond quickly. But there's other ways that if you don't want to give us a call, that we help educate and answer questions, right?
Yeah, every Saturday we're open at our Austin location, 8770 Research Boulevard, Austin, Texas, 78758. We have immigration clinics there. If you're concerned about maybe coming on a one-on-one consultation, you may have a question about something that you may feel is you don't want to disclose it. Everything that you talk to us is confidential. So first and foremost, don't be concerned about that. But we do give immigration clinics. We give personal injury clinics, criminal law clinics, family law clinics. Those are there every Saturday. The consultations are free. We're giving you information about kind of the hot topics, hot button issues. What happens if I get into a car accident? What happens if I get pulled over? What happens if one of my family members gets detained? You know what, I'm in an abusive relationship and I want to get a divorce, or you know what, I'm having problems with custody issues, or I just got in trouble over the weekend because I was enjoying too many cocktails or whatever it may be. We give you that information every Saturday. It's from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. At 8770 Research Boulevard, Austin, Texas, 78758. So.
Yeah, you guys should come and check it out. I've seen Diego; he does a great job. We've got a beautiful conference room. We'll have people come in and have a seat, provide refreshments. He gets out on the whiteboard and talks about various topics. He'll have what he's planning on talking about, and if any of the people who come in have questions, he'll answer those. So. It's like a mini class. You can be there for 10 minutes, you can be there for 4 hours, and whatever you want to do. And if you do want to take the opportunity to get a more in-depth personal consultation, Diego can set an appointment for you right there to talk to him, or if it's a personal injury question with Dustin or whatever, we're available to talk about. So I'd encourage anyone to come take a look at the clinic. And for those who need it, Diego is bilingual, so it can be in Spanish or English. Any kind of questions that you need.
Yeah, and just. On Saturdays, walk-ins are welcome, but any day of the week, walk-ins are welcome at any one of our locations. In Pflugerville, if you guys have any questions, come by. It's 305 North Heatherwild, Pflugerville.
Suite 200.
Suite 200, 78660, I believe.
That's it. That's right. Yeah, we're not one of those formal law firms where you have to call and schedule an appointment in a week in advance. If you need help, give us a call, or if you really want help, just come on in. We'll rearrange our schedule to meet with people. You do that all the time, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm in the middle of something all the time, and someone will walk in. Hey, someone's here. All right, well, let's go answer some questions for you.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
And it's free. That's the best thing, So give us a call, shoot us a text, email us 512-980-0000, 512-580-5000 in Espanol.
Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Again, my name is Justinian Lane of Justinian Associates, and I'm going to turn it over to my companions here.
Yeah, thank you again. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, let us know. We're more than happy to help, and I wish everybody a Happy New Year's. Please be safe.
Absolutely. Looking forward to your questions. Dustin Fox from Justinian Associates.